Hello everyone, welcome to Malik Joe 34 channel. This is Malik Arjun. Today is the day 8 on my Rack internal future series where I'm going to cover on node membership, voting disk and split bench syndrome. What exactly mean by node membership and where you find this node membership information, and what is this voting disk and what information this voting disk contains, and what is network heartbeat, what is the disk heartbeat, and what is this split bench syndrome in Rack, how this network heartbeat and node heartbeat will be registered inside your voting disk, and what information you can find it in your voting disk, and what happens if you lose your voting disk. So all this scenario with a live example I'm going to cover in today's session. If you see my Rack internal future series course, I already covered most of the topics, and all the sessions are available in my YouTube channel. If somebody missed, I request them to go back to my YouTube channel, search for Malik Joe 34, and then please do watch those videos. And if you are new to my channel, please go to YouTube and search for Malik Joe 34, and please do subscribe. If you like my videos, please share, like, and comment. Getting started with the today's session. I already covered, there are like different kind of network we will come across when we are working with a rack. Suppose here in this diagram, I can say node 1, node 2, node 3. All these three nodes are communicating with the internal network. I can say this is a private network. So private network, I can say it's the interconnect, this red color one. So and then other this green color one is a public LAN where your end user or application is going to connect. And at the back end, all this data, all these DB nodes are able to communicate to my storage server with the SAN network. I can say again it is you can use the SAN network, or you can call it as again it is a private network internal one. So coming to this node memberships and the basics, so which process basically involved for this node membership process? So each node has n number of services or n number of processes or n number of daemons in clusterware. So this particular processes, CSSD, cluster synchronization service daemon. CSSD is the one which is responsible for maintaining this node membership by either network heartbeat or by disk heartbeat. We can say it as vara.cssd, the main processes, and there's a cssd monitor. These are the two processes involved in this network heartbeat monitoring and disk heartbeat monitoring. And earlier it was OP, OPR, OCD, and now it will become Vara CSSD monitor. And if you can see this notation, the green color public network and this red color private network are interconnect, and this cyan network again it is a private network. If you see this, all CSSD monitor will run on all the nodes, and it is responsible for making this network interconnect, or I can say private LAN, and also the disk heartbeat to this voting disk. What CSSD do? I just covered what CSSD do. CSSD do mainly two communication method. What are the two communication method? One is network heartbeat. One is network heartbeat, and other one is the disk heartbeat. Network heartbeat via private interconnect. This red one, the communication between node to node in a private network is a private interconnect, and the disk heartbeat is voting disk based communication. This node is going to ping my voting disk which present under shared disk, and this node also going to ping my voting disk present under this shared disk. So and then it will get a response back to node. Which process is going to involve for this node to node communication and node to voting disk communication? The CSSD process is the one which is responsible for this communication. Okay, in case if node 1 and node 2 are not able to communicate, so either of one node is going to evict from the cluster. And which node is going to evict from the cluster? In a cluster where every second each node will ping each other. See, this node 1 will ping node 2 and node 2 will ping node 1. For example, node 1 will ping node 2 and node 2 did not send a response, means this node 2 will be evicted from the cluster. Similarly, this node 1 will ping node 2 will ping node 1, and node 1 will not send a response, means this node 1 will be evicted from the cluster. And similar concept to the when coming to the voting disk, this node 1 will register at the voting disk, and then this voting disk has to send back the response to cluster. If it is not able to send back the response, or this is not able to write to the voting list, this node will be evicted from the cluster. Similarly for node 2 also. So I said basically two-way communication. One is the network heartbeat and the disk heartbeat. Just I'm covering what is network heartbeat. I said, as I said, like each nodes in the cluster are pinging each other and every second. And then there's a CSS miscount. It is usually default 30 seconds. For example, this node 1 will ping node 2 within 30 seconds. This node 2 has to respond back. Similarly, node 1 will ping, node 2 will ping node 1, and node 1 has to respond back within 30 seconds. If they did not send a response within 30 seconds, that node will be evicted from the cluster. And then if you see this CSSD log, basically when the node evicted, you can see uh, like class name, polling thread, node, my node at 75% heartbeat, fatal, and removal from the cluster. So this kind of error message if you see, that is like node eviction due to network heartbeat. Okay, going to the disk heartbeat, there are two kinds of process I can say, P write and P read. Each node is going to write it to my voting disk. Voting disk will be in my shared location. This node 1 will write to my voting disk, node 2 will write to my voting disk using P write, and again node 1 will read and node 2 also will read using P read. Node must receive a response. There's a disk timeout time. Disk timeout time, see the moment this CSSD process will write to my voting disk and node should get a response back. Similarly, node to write to the voting disk and it has to get a response back. If did not get any response back, that node will be evicted from the cluster. So in case of IO error, for example, this node is not able to communicate to this voting disk due to some IO error, that time this disk timeout doesn't matter. If first of all there is a IO error, means this node will be evicted from the cluster because it is not able to write anymore to my voting disk. This will be evicted from the cluster if in case any IO error. Similarly for node 2 as well. And if you see CSSD log, you can say like what kind of error message you will get if the disk heartbeat fails. Node 2 is down, RCFG and RC write count, and this LATs and disk LAT sequence number. So this kind of error message if you see, it's kind of disk heartbeat failure. And usually Oracle recommends to have odd number of voting disk, 1, 3, 5, 7, like that. You should have always odd number. I'll tell you why we need odd number in my next session, in my next slide. What happens if I lose my voting disk? Suppose I have 3 voting disks. What happens if I lose my 1 voting disk, 2 voting disks, and if I lose all my voting disks? What happens? So answer for this question I am going to cover in the next slide. And then for this also, why should we need odd voting disk, I'll cover in the next slide. Okay, then voting disk and what are its advantages and what it contains. So I can say voting disk basically has two functionalities. The primary functionality is node membership. It contains all node member information inside the cluster. For example, if I have 4 node cluster, all 4 node information will be there in my voting disk. And the second functionality is the split brain syndrome. Whenever the split brain syndrome occurs, node member voting disk play an important role. These are the two primary functionality of my voting disk. One is the node membership, and other one is when split brain syndrome occurs, voting disk will decide which node to evict from the cluster. So I will explain what are these in detail. Okay, this voting disk basically contains two types of data. One is dynamic data and static data. Dynamic data is first I will say static data. Static data is information about all the node names in the cluster. For example, I have a cluster, I have a 3 node cluster, all the 3 node information will be available. If I have 4 node cluster, all the 4 node information will be available. That is kind of static data, that is not going to change anymore. And then what is dynamic data? Dynamic data is a disk heartbeat log. For example, every second all the cluster nodes are going to write into my voting disk. For example, I have node 1, 2, 3, and then right now at this time node 1 will come and register, okay, so and so time I am available, and node 2 will come and it will register so and so time I am available, and node 3 will come and register so and so time I am available. This disk heartbeat is a dynamic data. It will be keep updating and keep keep changing. But this node information is a static data. It will list of nodes within the cluster. All the node information, node name will be available in part of voting disk. That is a static data. So starting with the 12.2, we cannot use any more DD or CP to copy my voting disk, because it is going to generate a disk serial number. You can see here, right? This disk serial number is unique. Whenever you create your voting disk, one disk serial number will be assigned, and that will be registered with your cluster. So if we do CPI and DD, this serial number is going to change. So then your cluster is not able to recognize that disk. So you should not use CPR DD command anymore, starting with the 12.2. Earlier we used to do CPI and DD to copy or make a copy of my voting disk. So command to check my voting disk is crctl query css vote disk. I connected to node 1. Okay, see, I have 3 voting disks. I'll read it once again. Disk 1, disk 2, disk 3. I have 3 voting disks. So I said we should always have odd number of voting disks, 1, 3, 5, 7, like that. I'll tell you what is the reason behind that. Okay, going to the next slide. Okay, simple majority rule. Simple majority rule is, for example, I said like we should have always odd number of voting disks. I'll explain it why we need odd number of voting disks. A simple majority rule. Simple majority rule is, that is a thumb rule for all clusterware nodes. For example, I have a 3 voting disk here. 3 voting disk means, what is the simple majority rule value? Here formula is 2 by n by 2 plus 1. If I have 3 voting disk, n is number of voting disk. If I have 3 voting disk, if I put 3 here, 3 by 2, it is a 1.5. If you do truncate, it will be like 1. 1 plus 1, 2. At any time, this node has to write 2 of my voting disk. If it is not able to write 2 of my voting disk, this node will be evicted from the cluster. That is called simple majority rule. If this node has to write two of my voting disk, and third one, whether it will write or not write, doesn't matter. 2 it has to write. That is simple majority rule. Suppose I have a 5 voting disk, n is 5 here. 5 by 2, it will become a 2.5. If you do it round off, it will be like 2. 2 plus 1, 3. At any time, this node has to write 3 of my voting disk. Another 2 voting disk, whether it will write or not, doesn't matter. Similarly for node 2. Suppose if I have 7 voting disk, 7 by 2, it will be 3.5. The round off will become 3. 3 plus 1, 4. At any time, this node has to write 4 voting disk. Another 3, it doesn't matter. Similarly for node 2 also. So that is a simple majority thumb rule. That is the reason we should have odd number of voting disks. What happens if we have even number of voting disks? Suppose if we have 2 voting disks, we cannot able to get which node to evict in case of split brain syndrome. I'll explain what happens if we have a even number of voting disks in split brain syndrome. I'm going to explain split brain syndrome now. What is split brain syndrome? Okay, split brain syndrome. This node will ping node 2, and this node 2 will ping node 1. So both are pinging each other, but both did not get any response. Both will not get any response. So both will not get any response means this node will become independent, and this node also will become independent. And this node will think this node is not available anymore in the cluster, I am the master. And this node will think this second node is not available, I am the master. That split brain syndrome, we can call it as a multi-master. This node 1 also become master, and node 2 also become master. It is like a multi-master scenario, multi-master node scenario. So this node is not able to communicate to this, and this node is not able to communicate to this, but these both the nodes are able to write to my voting disk. Suppose if I have a 3 voting disk, and then at a certain time this node 1 is able to write more and node 2 is able to write less. So in that case, this voting disk, based upon the information available inside voting disk, and it will assume node 1 has written more data, and then this node is the correct node, and this is a alive node in my cluster, and I'm going to evict node 2, and then this node 2 will be evicted. And then similarly, if node 2 has written more, and then my voting disk will keep node 2 alive in my cluster, and it will evict node 1. So that is the reason voting disk will play an important role to decide which node to evict from the cluster based upon the information available in my voting disk. Suppose if I have a two voting disk, even number voting disk, and these nodes are not able to communicate, this node 1 is written to one voting disk and this node 2 written to a second voting disk, and then that time my voting disk is get confused like which node to evict. This is also written 50% and this is also written 50%, and both are not able to communicate to each other. So then even voting disk also, with the information available in voting disk also, we are not able to decide which node to evict from the cluster. So that is the one of the disadvantages if we have even number of voting disk. So if suppose if we have odd number of voting disk, suppose if we have three voting disk, these nodes are not able to communicate. This node 1 is written to one voting disk and node 2 written to second voting disk, and based upon the third voting disk and which node is going to write how much data on the third voting disk, based upon that voting disk will decide which node to evict from the cluster. That is the reason we should have an odd number of voting disk to decide which node to evict from the cluster based upon the information written, based upon the information available in my voting disk. And what is meant by split brain syndrome? If the cluster nodes are not able to communicate each other and each node will think other node is not available in the cluster, and it will become a master, and that scenario is, we can call it as a multi-master node scenario. And then multi-master node scenario, based upon the information available in the voting disk, the voting disk this voting disk will decide which node to evict from the cluster. That is called split brain syndrome. So what happens in case of extended cluster? For example, I have one cluster and then I have extended to another cluster joined together with the two geographical region or two locations. That time there's nothing special, it is gonna be same, but only concern is like my voting disk are distributed across the regions. So even in extended clusters, the simple majority rule going to be same, and split brain syndrome, network heartbeat, disk heartbeat, everything is going to be same. Okay, so I already showed my CRCTL query vote disk. It's better to have always odd number of voting disk in order to avoid this split brain syndrome, in order to handle this split brain syndrome scenarios. In starting from 12.2, automatically ASM creates odd number of voting disk 1, 3, 5, and then voting disk resides in one disk group only. For example, data disk group, all voting disk will be in data disk group. We cannot distribute across 3, 4 disk groups. All voting disk will be only one disk group. Based upon the external, normal, and high redundancy, and the failure group in the disk group. So if everything is under one disk group only means, but cluster is make sure a cluster smart enough to make sure it will place all the voting disk in the different disks within that disk group. Per default, there is a one failure group per disk. For example, 5, 6. For example, this 5 and 6 are on the same disk, but 6th is on this third voting disk is on disk 6, and 1 and 2 are on disk 5. So there should be one failure group formed here. So that will be decided by the cluster where ASM will enforce to require number of disks. Right? If you have a normal redundancy, obviously it will always keeps my voting disk in different disks. And then if you are having a external redundancy, so it will keep only one disk, one voting disk in one of the disk, and you have to manage your copy or mirrored copy by external mirroring. The new failure group type is quorum failure group. So if we have not sufficient voting disk, so there is a quorum failure group will be created, and it will be attached to the cluster. So previously I asked one question: what happens if I lose my one voting disk? What happens if I lose my here is the question: what happens if I lose my voting disk? So suppose if I have 3 voting disks, what happens to the if I lose one voting disk? What happens if I lose 2 voting disks? What happens if I lose 3 voting disks? So answer to that question is there is nothing going to happen. If you lose all your voting disk, your cluster nodes are getting rebooted. Your cluster nodes will be keep rebooting. So if you lose one or two voting disks, doesn't nothing gonna happen. So voting disk will not be having any of data. It will be having just node information and the dynamic data, that is node registration information, the timestamp registration information. So if you lose your voting disk also, nothing gonna happen. Only one, if one or two voting disks are available, still your cluster is going to survive. But if you lose all your voting disks, your cluster nodes are getting rebooted continuously. Okay, then coming to the OCR. OCR is the main thing where your entire cluster registry information will be resides. Like OCR is like managed like a data file in ASM. We have all data files for our actual data, and then OCR also we will manage it like one of data file, and it adhere completely redundancy setting of that disk group, and then we can keep this OCR in more than one disk group. So coming, if you compare with the voting disk always will be in one disk group only. So this OCR we can keep it in one or two disk groups. So we can keep it in any of the disk group. So it's recommended to have a two OCR location. One is data and one is FRA or RICO, whatever disk group. It's better to have it in multiple disk groups. So starting with the 12.2, the backup of this OCR, backup of this clusterware files is fully automatic. Clusterware files are enables fully automatic backups. Starting with this 12.2, the voting disk are backed up into OCR, and then any configuration changes in the cluster like node addition, the trigger new backup of my voting disk. A single failed voting disk is restored by ASM automatically. So once one voting disk get fails, automatically ASM will replace within the same disk group. No action needed from our side. And do not use a DD or CP command to copy your voting disk, because due to that serial number, disk serial number, it is going to generate, that is going to be unique. The OCR backup is automatically taken on every 4 hours. Every 4 hours, my ASM or my clusterware will take automatic backup. Manual backup also can be we can take it using export. There are so many methods I am going to cover. Especially for this voting disk and OCR and clusterware management, I am going to cover a new topic with all this technical command and explanation. So everything I said, like this managing this OCR, everything is gonna be completely automatic starting with 12.2, but only if all voting disks are corrupted or failed and the OCR is also corrupted, is unavailable, then manual interface would required to restore everything. So simple command to check my OCR backup and OCR backup location: OCR config show backup. So OCR config show backup, you can say rack 1 2 on rack node 1. I can say this is the backup grid home C data, and these are my backups. You can see this timestamp. So it is like manual, it's automatic, fully automatic backup. Manual backup for cluster registry is not available. So to check the backup location, OCR backup, OCR config backup location. Okay, so to change that one, so OCR config show backup location, OCR config backup location hyphen user one, like you can mention any of backup location, like to change the backup location. There are so many commands with related to OCR: show backup, backup location, dir name, backup location, and change the backup location, manual backup, restore, export, import, replace, repair, upgrade, downgrade. There are so many. I'm going to cover everything in my next technical session. So today's session I'm going to limit it for just explanation and then basic commands. So I hope that's it for the today's session, guys. As usual, like coming to the end of the session, I used to ask a question, and most of the guys are responded back very well with their answers in my YouTube channel. The today's question on my today topic is what is split brain syndrome? Just give me answer in one word. And what happens if I lose my voting disk? Like if I lose one voting disk, two voting disk, and three voting disk, what is going to happen? And what are the two main functionality of my voting disk? Please do answer, please do comment your answers in my YouTube channel, and I'm going to answer this answer for this question in my next sessions. If you like my video, please do share, like and subscribe guys. Thank you.